I don't think there's really much concern here. I think the movement will sort of normalize by tomorrow. Especially, you have to remember the fact that Broadcom gives a lot of segment level color. They have a lot of semiconductor segments and two major software businesses. So you will get that color during the call. So that is what really will drive the sentiment. Right now, we just are playing with very limited data. From what we can see so far, I don't see any major concerns. The AI revenue guide was upsided by $1 billion. So that's really positive because that's what's really driving the growth in semiconductor this year. The infrastructure also came in a tad bit higher, which helped the gross margin. And as we can see, the EPS is also a tad bit higher for the next quarters, which suggests that the infrastructure, especially the VMware integration revenue growth is going better than expected. So that will definitely be a tailwind for gross margin.
Remind everybody, before we get too much further, Kunjan, where Broadcom plays in the semiconductor space.
They are spread out. So there are four, if I had to divide their four business segments, major. One is wireless, which is really just Apple, right? So the phone business. The one big chunk, which is the most important right now, which takes into account the AI connectivity and AI ASIC business, falls under the networking, which also has general purpose enterprise networking. Then you also have server storage and in the industrial, as well as the broadband, which has the operators and telcos.
So the headline by Bloomberg News' Ian King, at least just in the couple minutes after the earnings report, is Broadcom gives tepid forecast in sign of sluggish non-AI demand. So when you were looking at the report, what was driving, I guess, the slower demand for non-AI products? And what are non-AI products?
Well, everything other than what I just said, AI, which is really a new business ramping this year. So it's not a surprise. We know that the other non-AI, namely broadband, wireless, telco, enterprise networking, server storage, industrial, all of these end markets, so nothing specific to Broadcom, but all of these end markets are sort of going through their bottom right now. We believe Q2 was a bottom for a few of them, but still coming out of the bottom. You know, there are some pockets where we still have heard weakness from other peers who also play in the same market. So my guess is the weakness or the miss here, slight miss here, is driven by what we thought or what the street thought, that the recovery for these non-AI segments coming out of this quarter is not as strong as what we would have thought.
Is there a story in here that we can take away about demand for phones?
Not really. I mean, look, they are only exposed to iPhone without hearing. We will find out in the call whether the guide does imply a weakness there, so that will validate. But if I had to pick my best guess, I would say it's just those cyclical, lumpy segments that I outlined are just not recovering as fast as we thought.
Yeah, just a reminder, what is this? Is this right? Kunjan, I'm looking at the SPLC function here. Apple's, I mean, it's that second biggest customer of Broadcom.
Yes, the entire wireless segment is just one customer, Apple. That's all they sell the phone chips to.
That's pretty incredible. Is there risk there that Apple will start developing what it uses Broadcom for in-house eventually, like it's done with other chips?
Not in the near term. The focus area for Apple in designing their own chips right now is near the modem and the transceiver areas. So what Broadcom supplies to, and Broadcom has had a very healthy relationship, if I would say, out of all the suppliers for Apple phone, that's the strongest relationship they've had. There have been these concerns coined in the past, but they've been put to bed, and they also just recently renewed their contract with Apple.
What about when it comes to Alphabet and Meta platforms? Alphabet is the fourth biggest customer, Meta fifth biggest. What do they buy from Broadcom?
So Broadcom is the biggest shareholder when it comes to the ASIC, the custom compute accelerator, right? So when we talk about NVIDIA and the biggest risks for NVIDIA, we talk about its largest customers, the Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, designing in their own chips. When they want to design their own chips, they need to work with a semiconductor partner like Broadcom, which sells them ASIC services and ASIC IP and the design and manufacturing services. So that's where Broadcom plays in. We think Broadcom has about somewhere between 70 to 80% market share of that market, and Google and Meta are their two largest ASIC compute customers.